Did you know that money is a leading cause of stress in relationships? Money is a touchy subject, and we're going to talk about that today. Hi, I'm Patti Handy, your financial coach and mortgage advisor. When it comes to money in relationships, the really critical component is communication. Oftentimes, there are situations where one person is a shopper, one person is a saver, and there's the butting of the heads. It's important that you communicate openly and honestly, even though it might be painful and frustrating, because what happens is if you don't communicate openly and honestly about your money intentions and your money goals and the desires for the money, it becomes a component of regret and resentment and frustration, and it just builds and builds and builds. So I am going to recommend that you, on a quarterly basis, maybe every 6 months, go on what I call a money date. And that is to, go to a picnic, go to a nice restaurant, have a nice night out, enjoy yourselves, but spend part of that time talking about money and reviewing your money situation. That includes looking at your retirements, looking at all of your assets, looking at your debts, looking at the credit cards, looking at whatever it is that relates to your money situation, and talk about it. Discuss it. Are you happy with where you are in terms of your savings? Are you happy with where you're at in terms of paying down debt if you have debt? Are you on the same page with the goals and the end result? Do you have the same desires to perhaps retire at a certain age and then travel? Are you on the same page with when to retire? It's so important to have those conversations, and oftentimes they're super uncomfortable because you don't want to rock the boat. But if you don't have those conversations, it becomes much worse than rocking the boat. So have those money dates, have those conversations, and it's really important also to have both husband and wife, or wife and wife, or husband and husband, look at the finances together and determine if where the investments are, what the passwords are to the sites, where all those statements are, and that's including all credit card debt, car payments, insurance policies, where the mortgage statement is, everything related to your financial house, so to speak, needs to be known by both parties in the relationship. They need to know where documents are, how to get into the websites, what the user password is. Even if one person is the main money manager and the one person is the main investor, if you will, the decision should be made together, and you both should know where things are at. I had a client once many years ago whose husband passed away unexpectedly, and he took care of all the monies, and she was completely lost. She didn't know where anything was. She didn't understand anything about paying the bills. So she was just completely lost. And lucky for her, with the help of her, I think it was her attorney that found it, but they found an account that he had that she didn't even know about that had a balance of like $600,000 in it. So she was lucky in that sense. It was a pleasant surprise. What I don't want to happen is have an unpleasant surprise where, unfortunately, something happens and then you suddenly realize, oh my gosh, we have much more credit card debt than I realized, or, I didn't realize we had that loan outstanding on the house, or whatever. It needs to be discussed openly, honestly, fully transparent, and again, have those conversations. And if you have them on a regular basis, it's no big deal. You're not having this, angry interaction. It's just like, okay, where are we at today? Where are things at? Is pay down the debt going well? Are we, what's the plan with the cars? Do we still want to lease? Do we want to sell? Do we want to buy a car? Any of those conversations, you just have them together and you have them openly and honestly. I also have a recommendation when it comes to, combining monies. Again, this is very personal. This is very independent, and it's up to you individually what you want to do. I've seen some situations where both spouses combine all their money and they pay all the bills from one bucket, and they combine all the monies into one bucket. So it's just one bucket that pays and comes in. I've had some situations where each spouse has their own accounts, and then they have one bucket of where they pay bills. So they both send money to this bucket where they pay their bills, and then they have their separate accounts to do with what they want. They've got to save individually, or they will have play money individually. I do think it's healthy in a relationship to have each person have their own play money. I've seen it in situations where, one's a spender, one's a saver, like I mentioned earlier. And if there's a spender in the family and you've combined everything into one bucket, the person who's spending more is going to create friction in that situation. And the saver is going to go, wait a minute, I'm working really hard to save and thinking about our retirement and our future, and you're out here blowing money, left and right. So if you have a bucket of just play money for each of you, then you can use that money however you want. And when you run out, you run out. No more play money for that month. Putting savings and investing as a priority over the fun. You've got to make the investing and the savings first and foremost. So again, have those conversations. My biggest, message here is just be completely transparent, be completely comfortable in having these money dates, have these conversations regularly. It isn't about one not trusting the other. It's just about both of you working together for the common goal and the common end result of, we want to retire at this age. And at retirement, we want to travel. We want to get on an RV and spend 10 years on the road, or whatever that situation is. And it's just important to know that you're both on the same page, which actually deepens the relationship and deepens the trust and the love, to know that you're both working together for your common, plan, which just, again, builds that love and trust in the relationship. So I hope that helped. Any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Please subscribe, like, and share. And I look forward to answering any of your questions. All right, bye for now.